Our Lady of Mercy Community Outreach Services have been serving the Low Country, particularly the Sea Islands and the Charleston East Side area, for many decades. Today, I talk one-on-one with the Executive Director of this organization, Jermaine Husser, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. Jermaine Husser, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much, Quintin. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, I appreciate it greatly. Needless to say, you're the Executive Director of Our Lady of Mercy Community Outreach Services, which has been an anchor in this community since, I believe, 1989 and beyond. And of course, right over here on the east side, you have the Neighborhood House, which has been standing for 100 years. So what's new, what's now with your organization?
Yeah, Quintin, I'm excited. We got a lot of things going on new and perspective that align with our strategic plan. Last year, me and the team and the board, we designed a 3-year strategic plan on how do we grow and scale programs while living, the 4 pillars of our mission, which is basic and emergency needs, food, clothing, employment, career services, and then also education, helping our kids in our after-school program, our ESL day and evening classes, and then also our wellness programs where we have dental and then OBGYN services. And our team is also looking at postpartum care for young mothers. And so there's a lot of new initiatives and pilot programs that we're, building around those 4 pillars. But we also are in the midst of renovating our downtown campus, which I'm really excited about, Quintin.
Yeah. Oh, I had no idea. So why this renovation? Why now?
So that building downtown has been in existence for 100 years, and it needs a little bit of love, Quintin. So instead of just patchwork, we wanted to do something more significant for the community. And so the church that's on 77 America Street, which is the 100-year-old church, we're going to renovate upstairs where the church is currently. It's going to house our Pay It Forward boutique. And so we'll have some nice clothing items in there to where neighbors from the community can come in and shop in that boutique. And every dollar that they're using in that facility and boutique, we'll pay it forward for somebody else who's in need. We also will be having our pantry up there as well, our Client Choice Pantry. We will also have our dental office upstairs as well.
Wow.
And then what I'm excited about, Quintin, is we're going to have a library where neighbors can come in and they can read, or we're going to have lectures, workshops in the area, to talk about reading and to talk about, people who love to read. Because I started a book club at the downtown office, and we had a great turnout, and it was impactful. And so we want to keep that going. And then what I'm most excited about, Quintin, is Von Seal, who is the soup kitchen manager at that location and has been for 35 years. We're going to be honoring her by naming the bottom floor, which is the Von Seal Cafe.
Yes.
And so it's going to be a pay it forward cafe to where somebody comes in like you, Quintin, for lunch. You'll be able to pay somebody, pay it forward to somebody else. And the name of Von Seal, who's been there for 35 years. She's going to be retiring this year. And so we want to make sure that her legacy of showing up, Quintin, and that's what she's done for 35 years. Sleet, snow, rain, maybe not getting paid the best in the organization, but every single day she shows up for our neighbors and our volunteers love her. So that's what I'm excited about, and the reason why we're intentionally, trying to transform that downtown location.
Oh, yes. And as a disclaimer, a lot of people probably don't know, but I grew up on the east side. We lived at 11B Aiken Street, so I can look over right across the street, and the church is sitting right there in the soup kitchen.
Absolutely.
Right there.
Yeah.
And, man, the east side's home. That's where I was raised for 35 years and lived there until 2023.
Right.
But when you think of that area, it has changed tremendously.
Yeah.
What exactly are your clients' needs and wants there?
Yeah. I mean, again, we're still seeing neighbors who are homeless, who are transient, and especially, drug and alcohol abuse, Quintin, still exists in that area. And I know Marianne and Dr. Platt and his team are doing a phenomenal job at Star Gospel Mission as a partner And so, Quintin, I think that's where it's at. We provide a certain, level of service for our neighbors, but then we have all kind of partners around us that we need to be collaborating more with and in a deeper, more meaningful way. And so we've been signing MOUs with, partners to really outline what their responsibilities are and what our responsibilities are so that we can truly transform lives, Quintin, because we can't do it in a silo. And for too long, we've been trying to operate in that way, and it has not been successful. And so with philanthropy being down, with federal funding being cut, it leaves no choice, Quintin, but for us to be innovative. And the innovation is what we've been talking about for, I've been in this business almost 30 years. It's been about collective impact and about collaboration. And so we're back to that same old topic, but it's now more meaningful than ever before.
What are those other topics that you want to discuss with your future partners in regards to what's going on around here?
Yeah, I mean, housing is a big issue. Affordable housing. There's no affordable housing anywhere. Transportation still, isn't a huge challenge. Not only, certain pockets downtown, but also in the Johns Island rural areas where, many neighbors, don't have transportation and need to get the services or to the hospital and cannot get there, Quintin. And so, we're talking to collaborators around how do we better the transportation system, and then access to healthcare. Access to healthcare, Quintin, is important. And out in the Johns Island, Wadmalaw area, you go to Hollywood, Ravenel, Adams Run area, they have very limited access to healthcare. There's very few dental offices even in that area as well. And so, our neighbors have to travel 30, 45 minutes, which many of them don't have the transportation to get there. And so, we've been working with partners. Beyond Our Gates is a foundation that we've been working with. Brian and his group have been very supportive of our expansion.
Wow, that is amazing. And I know all about going to the dental offices and going to East Cooper Community Resource over there to get my, tooth extractions on a plethora of occasions. So I know that's a critical need in the community as well. A lot of people just can't access the dentists.
Yeah, and that's absolutely. And many of our, Dr. Franklin talks about it all the time. Our dental director, many people come see her for the first time and they're in their 50s and 60s. And so just think of the education that she's providing for that neighbor who's never been, may also have some other ailing, illnesses that might be directly reflected from just poor oral health. And so Dr. Franklin and her team are doing a dynamic job of helping to educate our neighbors on the holistic body care, not just, your teeth, but your whole body. And that's the wellness piece that we're so, passionate about.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going back to Hollywood and the Adams Run and obviously Ravenel and those other rural areas, Jermaine. How many of those people from those areas are coming to you all for help right now?
Yeah, we're seeing an uptick because we started our, more outreach in that area. Last year, we did a resource week, and we also went in with Pinnacle Bank as a partner and did a financial literacy class. And so from that engagement, we're starting to see more neighbors from that area engage with us because they're being exposed to our services. Financial literacy as well as home repairs are the two biggest challenges that we saw out in the Hollywood, Ravenel, Adams Run area. A lot of home repairs need to happen. A lot of seniors, have holes in their floors, in their bathrooms, and they need a total bathroom renovation. And so we're working with Miriam and her team at Operation Home to help with, hopefully rebuilding lives for our seniors with some home repairs. And so that again is that continued collaboration. We need more partners to get this work done, but we need the right strategic partners, and that's what we're focused on right now.
And when you think about those rural areas right there, where else do you want to target as far as, your particular potential clients, I should say?
Yeah, I think, Quintin, the big area is North Charleston, right? I mean, North Charleston, for the past 7 years, many of your, audience may not know this, but for the past 7 years, North Charleston has been the highest rate of eviction in the state of South Carolina. And that's the past 7 years. And we're not San Francisco yet. But if we continue this trend, we can get there. And so, we need to be providing some level of services in the North Charleston area because there's a lot of neighbors that are losing their homes every single day. And those neighbors, need a beacon of hope. And too often in North Charleston, there's not a lot of organizations that do what we do holistically. And so we're looking at expanding our services in that region as well.
Wow. Uh, it's I'm looking at it regionally, but is it the South End or the entire city of North Charleston?
Yeah, the entire city of North Charleston. And that is, you got pockets up near the Dorchester,
Right.
Ashley Phosphate area, and then you get down to Cosgrove, in Rivers. I mean, there's pockets of, marginalized communities all over North Charleston. And, we need to be there. We need to provide that level of support. Midland Park area as well. And so we want to be a neighbor. And the best way that we can be a neighbor is we need to scale services and find partners in those areas that are doing good work and find out how we can, come in and lend our love. Because that's our motto is love your neighbor. And so we're just trying to find ways to love on our neighbors and share our model of holistic services because we believe it works.
And when you go back to that comprehensive plan, what other services right now would be effective if you could actually put that into implementation?
Yeah, so I'm really fired up about our career services area. I mean, if you can get a person a job, a career, Quintin, that's transformative, right? And so we do have a donor that came to us and shared that they are interested in helping to start a trade program, and they're willing to pay for a young person who's in transition, that 18 to 24-year-old, still trying to figure it out.
Right.
They're willing to pay the total cost for that, young teen or young transition neighbor to build a trade. And that's transformative, and we're building a scholarship for that. The Hispanic Business Association is also a partner with us in that. They've donated $5,000 to help contribute to this trades program. And so, again, we're just building those level of partnerships to come in and find ways to expand to meet the needs of our neighbors.
And you talk about the needs of your neighbors, and you mentioned the Hispanics. What is what demographic are you seeing the most that are coming to your offices?
Yeah, I would say, Quintin, Hispanic Latino population is heavy on the Johns Island area. And so, we see about, 35 to 40% of our neighbors are Hispanic and Latino in that area. If you go to the Midland Park area as well, that's heavily Hispanic, Ashley Phosphate area. And there's not a lot of bilingual service team members. And so too often, neighbors are walking into organizations and they're having to go through an app to talk to someone. And we have a different intentionality. We are intentional about bringing on bilingual team members so they can build relationship with our Hispanic and Latino community. And so, my life partner is Hispanic from Puerto Rico. And so I know how important it is that, we view each other as brothers and sisters and lean into this work together.
And what exactly is your approach to expanding your organization's role in influencing local systems to help create and sustain equitable and inclusive communities?
Yeah, Quintin, I would say it's community conversation. It's not going in telling neighbors what we are going to do and how we're going to do it. It's listening to the community and finding out ways that they can be a part of the solution. I believe in building community. That's the best way possible, is to invite the community in to help with creating those solutions. And so we're going to be doing some community conversation meetings in October. And so we will invite you and your audience as well to be a part of that. We're going to have one downtown and also then one in the Johns Island area. And we're also looking at having one in the North Charleston area. And so I think if we can get those community conversations to talk about what's most needed, as well as the services we provide, and bring in the partners that are willing to help us with this work, that we might be able to make a difference.
And you talk about the services. Obviously, as you mentioned earlier, you have the food pantry. And I know on social media recently, you all basically say, hey, we're low, we need your help. Where do we stand right now?
Yeah, and the community is, continuing to rise to our need. The food bank has been hurt with, financial cuts from the federal government. And so, and we're seeing more neighbors, because of government cuts and employment. And so, we need more hygiene care. And so, hygiene kits being made up. Porter God just called us, Gretchen and her, young team are going to be coming over to help us with processing some clothes. They're going to be buying some bins as well as some other things that we need to help support our neighbors. And so I'm really excited about, the partnerships that we are building. But food and hygiene care are still things that are necessary and needed for our neighbors with basic and emergency needs.
And if somebody wants to donate their money, time, or resources to you all, how do they go about that?
Yes, please look us up online at Our Lady of Mercy Community Outreach Services.org. OLMCOS is short for Our Lady of Mercy Community Outreach Services, as well as you can come to either one of our locations, our downtown locations off of 77 America Street, and our Johns Island locations on the corner of Brownswood and Main Road in Johns Island, right across the street from the Goodwill.
Oh, good, good. I love going to Goodwill for my blazers, by the way.
You look pretty sharp, brother. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Goodwill's a great organization, well, in the community.
Absolutely, they are.
Well, Jermaine Husser with Our Lady of Mercy Outreach Community Center and organization, thank you for your time. And again, welcome back to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you so much, Quintin. Make it a great day.
Likewise.